everyone. Welcome to 5 Questions with LeRoy Butler, and we are here after a pretty big Packers victory over the New England Patriots. Was it all that you thought it would be?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When you have 2 coaches that are superior and you have 2 quarterbacks that are superior, and you got other guys stepping up to this challenge. And I thought it was very, very exciting. But I think it surprised some of the people in certain situations because a lot of people thought Brady's going to make a big comeback in a defense who's been terrible all year. They're not going to be able to stop him. Right. But they actually did, so I have to give them a lot of credit.
I'll ask you a question that you asked me. Did McCarthy outcoach Bill Belichick?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yes, he did, and then he needed any tapes to do it. You know what I mean by that. Tom, it's a very fair question because people think that Bill Belichick is a genius.
Yes.
So, in certain situations, especially defensively, he always comes up with these great game plans that sets him apart from a lot of coaches. Mm-hmm. McCarthy went into the lab and had to figure out ways to give New England some of the things that they have on film, but some different progressions. And one of them we're going to show with Randall Cobb in the backfield. Mm-hmm. Now, they have him on tape in the backfield, but not running these particular routes. So I think he did an excellent job of coaching both sides of the ball, and I think a lot of people need to acknowledge that.
I agree with you. I thought his game plan was fantastic, maybe the best he's ever put together. I also thought it was amazing that Belichick could keep switching matchups. Yep. He could put guys in all kinds of positions, and they knew their assignments for the most part. We didn't see a lot of blown assignments.
No.
They got to be the best teachers in the whole world because to play that many different schemes, and they had one play where 3 guys dropped to spy on Rodgers, and their red zone play was really good. But in terms of offense, McCarthy probably has the most options that he's had in a long time, right?
I would agree.
Offense.
I would agree, and a lot of people would probably differ because they may say, well, they don't have a tight end.
Right.
They don't have a Jermichael Finley tight end. Well, guess what? Rodgers scored a touchdown, rookie tight end, and Quarters made some amazing catches. So they're getting production, but then again, if you look at the overall scheme of it, if you did have a Jermichael Finley, that would take catches away from Cobb, it would take catches away from Nelson.
Right.
So they think it's a happy medium. But when you go in and run a formation, and we're going to talk about an X and O called Joker, you got 4 wide receivers and 1 tight end. Now, that formation, New England's probably has never seen the Packers do that. They didn't run it a whole lot until when they had Jermichael Finley years ago. But McCarthy not only put it in, but when you put Randall Cobb as the H, as the actual running back, he has to pick up blitzes, he has to run screens, options. There's a lot of things you can do. Or you could just put Eddie Lacy back there and make a traditional back. I just think that this week McCarthy sat down and said, what are we good at? And here's a few new real sprinkles. But at the same time, we may have to win a shootout or we may have to win a close game. He coached for both.
Right. The big issue everyone's talking about after the game in terms of the offense, one area they didn't do well was 0 for 4 in the red zone.
Yeah.
You pointed out, and I agree with you to some degree, that a couple of those were on Aaron Rodgers.
Yes. Yeah, it really was. I mean, I think right now he's the leading candidate for the MVP. I think he's the best quarterback in the league. With that being said, I didn't see a lot of the struggle. What did I see? Well, they had maybe 5 opportunities, true opportunities, at least legitimately 4, like you said. 2 of them, hey, New England gets paid too. They're not just, they had a great game plan.
Right.
They really did. One time he just had nobody to throw to it, just throw it away.
For about 20 seconds.
Right, it seemed like. But the 2 times, Tom.
The early first 2, I think it was, right?
Right. In my opinion, if I can't touch you as a defender, if you're the receiver, that means you're open. If I can touch you, you're covered. Both times, Rodgers overshot Devontae Adams in the corner and Cobb on the right side and overshot Cobb. Within his standards, he makes those throws.
Right.
Those are 2 touchdowns. So I'm going to put that more so on a quarterback then people think, well, why was it such a struggle? Because again, they had a great defensive game plan in the red zone.
You're saying it's not the game plan that was the issue, it was performance.
It was just, and that's what McCarthy said, it was just execution. If he executes a proper throw, which he's always done, and we expect that, then it's a touchdown.
Yeah.
And then if you go and throw it also in the red zone, the fifth play, Devontae Adams, Rodgers make a great throw, and he drops it.
Right, right.
So if those plays happen, they blow New England out.
Right.
So that's why when people say, why isn't Rodgers all excited? Because he knows he left some throws out there. But what you see on TV, 368, 2 touchdowns,
Yeah.
one credit rating, passer rating,
Right.
when it should be 410 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a
Right.
perfect rating.
Right.
And that's what we're used to and accustomed to.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, if they play him next time, Aaron not only makes those throws, but they can also make adjustments after that. Because people thinking that if they played again, New England will win. I disagree with that.
Well, I think it'll be interesting because
Yeah, it would be interesting.
Belichick has now seen, everything that McCarthy can throw at him.
Well,
But
that's the overall perception that you media guys give him. Oh, he's seen it. He's brilliant. So's McCarthy. So my thing is, if you're playing chess with the best chess match guy, I got a guy to compliment that.
Yeah.
And I feel good about it.
I always like the team the second time they play you. I always
Yeah.
feel like the team that loses the first meeting
Yeah.
has an advantage in the second game.
So I can't make no adjustments because I won.
Right, because you're sitting there going, okay, well, should I make adjustments or should we just do what we did because we were really good at it?
I don't think McCarthy thinks like that. I'm a McCarthy apologist. And I'm thinking he knows I got to keep pushing my team to say, listen, I have Michael Jordan on my team.
Yeah.
And I'm going to distribute the ball to Paxson, to all these other guys. Be ready.
Right.
But I got to find new ways to get new guys the ball. We never thought James Starks could even catch, more or less, to run these particular routes. McCarthy makes his team very unselfish, and they play big games. When you go to A.J. Hawk and say, listen, Sam Barrington is going to start, unselfishly, okay, fine, no issue. Because the head coach understands he has the heartbeat of his team, and that's why they expect to beat teams like New England.
Let's talk, good transition. Let's talk about Sam Barrington, A.J. Hawk. On the surface, that looked like a good move. They put Barrington in the nickel, played Hawk only in the base defense. Barrington, you saw, made a couple of great run tackles early. Then you keep going through the tape, and you see that there's some mistakes out there that Barrington made, including one where we're not sure if it was his fault or not, but he ran out to cover somebody and probably should have stayed in the middle. And you saw other times players were pointing, hey, this is where you're supposed to be. That's part of the trade-off with him, right? I mean, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, it's risk-reward.
Right.
Can I get a guy out there who's not athletically sound, but he knows where to go and he'll line up properly, may not make the play? Or do I want a guy that'll make the play but may not line up properly? It's risk-reward. So it would look like in baseball, would be like a platoon situation, where one guy, bats great against left-handed pitchers, the other guy does the right-hand pitchers. That's what's going to go in week to week, but you got to get guys to buy into that, Tom.
Yeah.
If you don't get a guy to buy into it, for A.J. Hawk to resist and say, no, I'm the starter, I've been here for 9 or 10 years, I want to play and I deserve to play, then sometimes it can hurt your team. But he was very unselfish. I give A.J. Hawk a lot of credit, but a lot of credit goes to Don Capers and a lot to that staff. They're coaching their butts off. And I think it showed against New England.
Well, that was that you talk about risk-reward. The risk there was doing it in this game as opposed to doing it against Minnesota. I mean, with all the things that New England throws at you. But, I think they just have to find a small, segment of plays that Barrington should be in, let him focus on those and play those.
That's brilliant, because if you can get him a package that he knows, regardless of the formation, then you can get him you can see his talents.
Right. You can see
he can
play.
That. And then you also have to create a package for A.J. Hawk, who used to be the dime linebacker, but now it's Matthews.
Right.
So now Matthews is still learning. So you'll see some of the plays come up to where he's the only linebacker in there, but they got away with it for now.
Yeah.
And I think they have to still make correction.
Okay. One short thing, when you were talking about Finley and how they miss him, I think one of the things that has made up for that is the development of Adams. Now all of a sudden you have, rather than two tight end or one tight end or two tight ends and two receivers, you got a third receiver who's really coming on now. Drop withstanding, you know. I mean, he can.
You're right, Tom. That's Ted Thompson. Ted Thompson has this brilliant way to say, well, I'm gonna get guys, and not real fast, not real fast at all, but have feet like Donald Driver and Dancing with the Stars. This guy, no one can jam him, but they went into this saying, you know what? Okay, you got Revis and Browner for 18 and 87. I get that part. I want to see if your best third corner can cover my best third receiver, which is a rookie.
Right.
And Devontae Adams won a lot of those matchups.
Sure.
Like you said, drop withstanding, that was a great game plan because they came out right away giving him a chance to make plays, and he responded.
Yeah. Atlanta, Monday night.
Yeah.
Chance for a letdown. What do you expect in that game?
I expect them to kind of one of these games where it starts out slow, but eventually the Green Bay Packers are just too talented right now. The goal is just too big in front of them to lose. But again, a first-place team that needs to stay on top of their division, but their defense is not very good, and I think they've always beat Matt Ryan. I expect them to do the same.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed the show, and we will be back next week after the Monday night game. See you then.